time in Pattersville last night?
Yeah, late,
That's like 2 blocks from where I live.
late night.
Welcome to our press conference for the Clemson, North Carolina game. Kickoff this weekend is at 12:01, be televised by ESPN. In conjunction with this weekend's game, we'll also be honoring our 1981 National Championship team. I want to thank Herb Tyler from Chick-fil-A in Clemson for providing our lunch today. Over to Coach.
Okay, another tough challenge for us this week with North Carolina. You know, this is a good football team. They're as good as anybody we've played to this point, and really probably, you know, a gnat's hair away from being 7-0. I mean, really, really good football team that's capable of you know, probably beating anybody on any given day. Got a lot of talent. Got a bunch of NFL players on their roster when you look at them. Recruiting has not been an issue at North Carolina. They got a bunch of good football players. Got a bunch of guys we recruited on both sides of the ball. So really, really good team. They're playing hard. They don't give up. They've gotten in a couple situations. They put themselves in a hole and rallied back. You know, Coach Withers has done a great job. I mean, they're very well coached and very well coordinated on both sides. And, you know, when you look at their offense, the thing that jumps out at you is, you know, they're an NFL-style team and very balanced. I think they got 14 passing touchdowns and 13 rushing touchdowns. And anytime you play a team that can present balance, that's a problem. And then their style of play, you know, they're a ball control type of team that you know, they want to keep the ball from you if they can. In fact, that's one of the things that hurt us last year. They had the ball 13 minutes and 15 seconds in the fourth quarter. I'll never forget that last year. And that was obviously, I mean, a problem. We only got 3 quarters of football against them. So, you know, this is a team you got to do a good job. You can't turn it over, and you got to take care of it. They create some problems because they do a lot of shifts, a lot of motions, a lot of trades, and really challenge you from a preparation standpoint and getting your front set, getting your gaps coordinated. You know, everybody communicating and being on the same page, and along with those motions, they'll create a lot of bunch type sets, which forces you to zone some things and you know, get you out of a little bit of a rhythm from time to time. So you just got to be very disciplined against all that stuff. Their offensive line is huge, and not only are they big, but they're very athletic. You got some 6'7" guys up there, and you know, just a very good group that plays physical. And their quarterback has been outstanding. He leads this league in efficiency, does not make many mistakes. I don't think he's thrown a pick in the last 3 games, and I think we've had 1 in every game. So that's a big challenge for us because he's been, again, very efficient. Their running back is a freshman, and he's very, very good. He's a very good football player. And Houston, his backup, is a really good player. He's a senior. You know, Bernard's had 5 straight 100-yard rushing games. So, you know, they obviously want to be able to establish the run. That's something that we'll have to, you know, try to do a good job of. And and then, you know, they got as good of receivers as we're going to play across the board. You know, they've got some veteran guys, and then they got a couple of young guys that are very capable of making plays as well. You know, 83 is a great player. 88 and 87, I mean, they just, you know, they make plays. Jeremy Boyd can fly. I think he's rushed the ball 5 times for 50-something yards, so he's averaging over 10 yards a carry, and just a talented group, you know, across the field from an athleticism standpoint. And defensively, again, as good as we've played, their front 4, all those guys will play on Sunday. Every one of them, and a couple of the backups too. Yeah, they're a very good front. Their linebackers are very good. You know, Zach Brown is, I think, leading them in tackles, and he's done a nice job. And 48 in the middle there is a really good player. I know they're starting a new guy this week at Sam, a guy that we recruited in Lipford. so know him very well. And their defensive backfield with number 12 back in there, he's got a bunch of starts. He's their experienced guy. He also does some returns for them. Just a good football team, and going to be a challenge for us. They got dangerous returners. Another freshman for them, little number 5. He's leading the league in kick returns. He's also a receiver for him. He's very capable. That's something that concerns me a little bit going into this game. We're going to have to do a great job with our coverage and make sure we get the ball where it needs to be. But, glad to be back home. It's really good to be back in Death Valley this week. And, one of the things I would say is, we need our crowd to be rocking. I mean, I can't stress that enough. If there's a game that we need our crowd to show up, it's this week. This team definitely needs that type of support, that type of energy, because this is a difficult place to play. When the crowd is rocking, a difficult place, and it's like playing with 12 people, really. So I really want to challenge our fan base to get up and dress up and show up and come and let's get there early, and let's have that place as good as it's been all year long. And also we've got obviously our 81 team coming back here to be honored in a special way. Looking forward to spending some time with those guys. I'm gonna have a little opportunity to get with them on Friday evening. Looking forward to that. I know a lot of them. Some of them I don't know yet. But that's it's hard to believe. You think 30 years, and that's a special time. And I've been on a national championship team, and I remember our 20-year reunion. It's a special, our 10-year reunion. It's a special time when you get a group of guys back together. So the best way to honor those guys is having a great crowd and us playing our very best on the field on Saturday. Any questions?
Mike Bellamy.
What about it?
What's his status? Is he still with the team?
Yeah, he's absolutely still with the team. You know something I don't know?
I'm just asking. I hear whispering.
No. As far as I know, he's still with the team. As far as I know, absolutely. Absolutely. Is there something going on, some undercurrent, some conspiracy that I don't know about? He's here. If he's not here, I promise you, y'all, I'll let you know. But he's, practiced well last night and expecting to practice well today. But he's a young player that's got some maturing to do, and that's part of our job is to teach him, and hopefully he'll be all right.
Is he struggling with the disappointment of not having as big an impact as he might have expected?
I just think that there's a lot of structure here, there's a lot of discipline here, and a lot of accountability here, and there's no gray area, and sometimes that's difficult for young people to take on when maybe your maturity's not quite where it needs to be. But that's, again, it's just all part of the process. But he's a really good young man. He's just a guy that has got some maturing to do, an understanding of the big picture and life and all those things, and that's what this program's about. I mean, we're not just coaching ball here. That's just what we do part of the time. Really, we spend more of our time coaching life. And he's a guy that hopefully, when it's all said and done, if he'll stick with it, he's going to leave here better than he is right now, as a player and as a man. But not there yet. He's kind of your typical freshman that the transition is not as easy for some as it is for others.
Part of it maybe, could there be some homesickness involved in it? And do you feel comfortable that he's going to stick around?
Yeah, I feel comfortable. I don't know where all this is coming from. It's something I don't know about, but he's just a young player that, like any of them, wants to play more. You got to earn it through your effort, through your accountability, through doing what's right, and by nourishing the concept of team and family. That's what I tell them. That's, you earn everything you get here. It's just a young player that wants to play more. Nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting to play more. Shoot, man, I want to play more too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I want guys that want to play more, but you got to earn it, and you have to do that the right way. It's really not a problem. I hadn't had any issues with him. I had a little deal with him last week, and we sat him the first half, but, he'll either do what's right or he won't. It's his choice.
He seemed to have issues after the game up there.
I was not aware of anything up there.
In uniform when everybody else was in the locker room, and then
Yeah.
he was like the first one out and kind of head down and straight to the bus.
Well, I mean, again, he should be. He should be. He should be really happy. He's a very blessed young man. But I didn't know about any of that. I did hear about it when I got back, and, it must have been an important phone call. But, we handle things within this team concept here, and it's dealt with. I can assure you everything is addressed, and but he's not disrespectful. He's not anything like that. He's not a guy like that. I don't want to create any kind of bad perception. You be careful with that. He's just a high-profile guy that people pay attention to, and media looks for things that can, especially when you got a team that's doing well, and looks for things that could be something to write about. And there's really nothing to write about. If there is, y'all know pretty quick. He's just a typical guy that wants to play more and hasn't expressed that the right way. But he's a good young man that's got a great future if he'll make the right decisions. Enough about Mike Bellamy. Who wants to talk about North Carolina?
Now that you've had a chance to look at the video a little bit, I was curious what you thought about the quarterback containment issues you had against Maryland.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I wondered if you could talk a little about the quarterback containment issues you had.
Containment issues?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm going to give Maryland a lot of credit. They're well-coached, talented football team. It's lost some tough games to some good teams. That guy he can fly, first of all. So I want to give Brown some credit. He did a fantastic job in taking advantage of maybe us being a little undisciplined in our rush lanes a little bit. And then to be honest with you, he just beat us a few times on some scrambles where we maybe had a guy there, and he was just better than our guy at that time. And then the other part of that is it's not like we've seen this guy all year long. And they did a few things that created some issues. And hey, had a great plan. We didn't help ourselves with just 14 points right out of the gate. We've addressed all those things, and there's things that we can definitely do a better job of. And hopefully, as I'm sure we'll be challenged down the road in some similar situations, and we look forward to that.
Anthony and Stewart, are they going to see some more time possibly on the defensive side with all these adjustments you're going to try to make?
I think you'll see, both those guys will continue to see time. Tony's a guy that is still kind of coming along, work in progress. I think Anthony's a guy that you definitely see more maybe in our nickel situations. He brings a little different dimension to us at our MAC position there in some obvious nickel type downs. So I think that you will see him a little bit more, and I think he can help us.
Quiet today.
What's that?
It's quiet in here today.
What's going on with Justin Parker?
Well, he's hurt right now. He's right now. I'm a little worried about him for this week, but other than that, he's doing fine. He's just still a young player that's developing into what we hope is going to be a very good player. He's doing a really good job on special teams for us. Starts on, I think, 3 or 4 special teams, and he's probably playing 20, 25 snaps a game in that area. And we haven't had a lot of just true, regular personnel type games where he's gotten a lot of time on the field, but he's a very good player, you know, that's, you know, we think got a good future. But right now, you know, he's banged up and hurt and probably questionable right now for this weekend.
What's the nature of his injury?
His hamstring.
What have you seen in Bernard that has made him so effective as a first-year running back?
Well, he's quick, and you know, he's got a he'll just slasher. If you don't fit your gaps perfectly on him, he'll find that spot, and he's just very good. You know, a little bit like CJ early on in his career. You know, CJ was a guy that would kind of stop his feet, and then, you know, he had that ability to accelerate and explode. And that he's got that ability to do that. I mean, he's a very good football player that's gotten more and more confident. But big group up front that he's running behind, big, strong, physical guys. So you got to give them a lot of credit. But he's, you know, again, well coached. They know what they want to do, and they play within their scheme. But a very, very talented player.
Dabo, we saw out of Ellington Saturday, you know, more of what we saw last year. Is that just a product of him starting to get healthy, fully healthy again?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. That's the first week he's practiced every day in a while. I knew he was going to have a great game. I knew he was going to have a great game. That's why I made him captain. You know, he was just dialed in. And I saw it last week against BC. You know, like I said, he played well. He felt great after the game. And he had a great week of practice, and I wasn't surprised at all to see him have that kind of game. And I think he's going to have a great second half of the season. I mean, heck, he's on his way. He's close, you know, be 1,000 yards here pretty soon. But it's not like he's had a bad year. But he had 2 or 3 games there where he just banged up. You know, he got hurt in the Auburn game and had to come out, and then he just literally played at about 80% versus Florida State. And then it was tough sledding up there against Virginia Tech. You know, it was a tough team to run the football on. And but he got himself back going and against BC, and I think he's poised to go have a great second half.
You touched on Sammy's work ethic last week on how he gets ready for games and how mature he is and stuff like that. Can you talk about his hands for a minute? Because some of those catches, those touchdown catches he's had in the second half of last game, the way he brought it in, it was just kind of impressive.
Looks like Spider-Man out there, doesn't he? Just sticks to him. It's unbelievable. He's got great hands, and he attacks the football as good as anybody I've ever seen. I mean, that's one of his, you know, qualities that makes him special is he attacks the ball. He doesn't sit around and wait on it. I mean, he's got great body control, and you put that type of mentality and body control with the fact that he just has incredibly gifted hands and strong fingers. I mean, he gets his grip on it, it's over. He's something else. He's special.
You mentioned the other day you challenged the offensive line. Talk in specifics about some of the development of some of those guys. This year, a guy like Brandon, who finally is being able to deliver for you, and Philip Price, who kind of came out of nowhere in the past year or two.
Yeah. How about Price? Let's just start there. I mean, you know, I don't think any of y'all in here, y'all all wrote him off. There wasn't one of you in here that felt like he was going to be our starting left tackle. I mean, you know, and that guy, I mean, he's changed. I mean, that guy has made us a good offense. I mean, he has been our most consistent player in that offensive line. And and a lot of that goes to the fact that we moved him last year, and we were very patient with him. We knew he was going to be a project, but he never played offensive line. And he played D-line and he played tight end. But he spent the year learning from Chris Hairston, very good player, and he was ready. He was ready. He was physically ready, mentally ready. He's become one of our smartest players up front from a football knowledge standpoint. I mean, he knows and prepares every week. He knows what's going on. He sees it. He gives you great information when you come off the field, and we don't have a tougher guy on the team. I nominated him for, what's that award? The Burlsworth Award. I mean, if there's a walk-on out there having an impact to this guy, it can't be many of them. I mean, he is. I just wish I had another year from him. I mean, this guy is a good football player. I think he's got a chance to play on Sunday. So, you know, that's the kind of impact he's made and the type of progress he's made, fundamentally, technically, and so forth. Brandon Thomas is really come on. That's been a big positive in our football team to see him finally decide that he wants to be a good player, and he's having fun. He's preparing. He's studying, and you know, he's answered the bell for us, and it's allowed us to develop some depth in that offensive line. We needed somebody else to really come on for us, and because now we've got some options, and as far as who we can move to tackle, left or right tackle, guard, center, we've got a good solid group that we can move around as situations present themselves throughout the course of the season. But Brandon is a very physical player, and you know, with a lot of the pulling and things that we do with our guards, really gives us a great athlete in there. So I'm happy with him. Dalton is outstanding. I mean, he is a great leader. He's a great. It all starts with 55. And he is a tremendous communicator. His snaps are on the money. He has to do more than anybody, and just you can just count on him. And he loves to play. He's a coach's son, and it's like, you know, it's like having a coach out there. That's what it's like, having Dalton Freeman on the field every single play. It'd be like taking Robbie Caldwell, you know, and whipping him into shape and throwing him out there and playing every snap. You know, if you can imagine that. But that's how I would. I mean, that's Dalton. And then Big Mac. Big Mac is he is a man child. You know, when he's dialed in, he is incredibly physical, very strong. He'll get a little tired from time to time, and I mean, he's a big man, and we got to do a good job of making sure we rotate our guys in there a little bit better, maybe, and especially as we get second half of the season. But Max done a heck of a job for us. He's had some critical blocks. You know, he'll make a mistake, he'll come back, he'll correct it. Landon is you probably get. He gets the most out of what he's got every single week. You get every ounce of Landon Walker, every practice, every meeting, every game. You get everything he's got. And, you know, again, several of those guys are going to be playing after Clemson, and Landon's one of them. Just great leader for us. You know, he is a great leader for this football team, and proud of him, because where he's come from to where he is right now is amazing. All those guys, but Landon in particular. I mean, he as a redshirt freshman, he was, you know, not a very good player, and he was having to play a lot. He wasn't ready, but he was having to play, and it wasn't pretty. But he has gone against. You know, I always go back to what the Bible teaches is iron. You know, as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. And Landon Walker has gone against some great defensive players at Clemson. I mean, some men every single day. And he was a guy that was either going to get better or just get passed by. And he has worked his tail off fundamentally and technically and mentally and physically to make himself into a very good player. So I'm just really pleased with our offensive line. We got to bring some of those other young guys along, and they're making progress. You don't see a lot of them playing on game day. Unfortunately, you know, we haven't had, you know, many just snoozers, but you know, they're making progress. They're getting better. They're getting coached every day. They're watching film. They're learning from mistakes. They're getting the same amount of reps as our first team's getting right now. So, you know, they're developing, and I think our future's bright there.
You're getting a lot of national attention and with everything, the records being broke, your, accomplishments. How does that play into recruiting are you seeing people sending more tapes or making more calls to the program here?
Well, recruiting is something that we've worked really hard on for the last couple of years, and we've made a lot of progress. We signed I think we signed a good group each class, and obviously this year really was a special group, but I think we're going to put together another one in this class. But absolutely, anytime you have success, I mean, it affects a lot of things, and so no question when young people see your brand on TV, they see that Paul, they might like you a little bit more, and so it's important. That's why it's important that you build a good program and that you do things the right way, and that you handle adversity the right way and you handle the success the right way. All those things matter, and but yeah, we're recruiting very well, and I think we'll continue to do that, and we'll try to take advantage of our success in every way possible on that front. Sometimes maybe you weren't in it with a guy, and all of a sudden you are. Then you evaluate that as you go.
One of your goals coming into the year for the defense was to force more turnovers, and your plus minus is on the plus side. But what are you feeling now, 7 games in? Really?
Well, I was disappointed up there in Maryland because that's the first game we've lost the turnover margin, and that's a big part of our plan to win. I mean, we've done a good job there. I think we're +4 on the season, which is good. But we've had a couple costly turnovers. It's one thing to turn it over. It's another thing when it's points the other way. We just gotta keep doing what we've been doing, because for the most part we've been very efficient, and defensively they've done a good job. I'd like to see us create a couple more. We've left a few on the table, where we've dropped a couple. We've had a ball or two on the ground we didn't come up with, and so we got to get a little bit more stingy in that area, take advantage of those opportunities.
Is it fair to say this is the biggest challenge your offensive line will face athletically this week?
Well, again, they're as good as anybody we've played. Florida State was very talented, Virginia Tech. I mean, all those guys. But as a group, these guys are as good as anybody. And again, every one of them going to play on Sunday. Every single one of them, no doubt. So this will be a big task, and we got to take care of our quarterback. We can protect our quarterback. That'll give us some opportunity to open up some things.
You talked about the structure you have going on here with regard to Bellamy. You have a policy for Gatorade baths after the game, because it seems like if it, I don't know, old-fashioned maybe, but it seems like that should be reserved for.
No, we have no policy. Maybe we need to institute one. I might let you write that up for me, Bart, and I'll present it to these guys.
A very good shot at you the other night.
Well, no, they got me pretty good, but they got the troopers a little worse. Yeah, I didn't see it. I was running over the field. They caught me off guard. But now, you know what? Hey, they can Gatorade bath me every game for all I care. It don't matter. When you get in Gatorade bath, it usually means you're winning. And so, I don't know. I don't even know who did it, to be honest with you. I probably should have video surveillance and where I can get them back and maybe curtail that. But I don't. I'd rather have that than too many Gatorade baths than not enough. That's right.
Landon said last week that a noon kickoff or early game kickoffs are hard to get motivated for. The primetime games is what this team strives for, but you guys obviously have a noon kickoff. Is there something as a coach you might have to say or do with your players to get them a little extra motivated for an early game?
No, I think this team's beyond that. We've played a lot of noon games here for whatever reason. We go on the road, we got to play at night. We play at home, I got to play at noon. I get home at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how all that stuff works, but it is what it is. But as I've said many times, you can't allow things you don't control to impact your performance. I mean, it is what it is. If it's raining, you still got to play well. If it's freezing, you got to play well. If you play at noon, I don't play good if it's not a night game. Well, you're never going to be great. So you got to overcome that stuff. You just got to show up and play the game. When you step on the field, you have to be ready. So all we do is we just have a process of preparation to get them ready. By the time, and it's all the way up till they step on the bus at the hotel to arrive. We just have a plan in place, and if it's whatever time we're kicking it off, then we adjust that plan accordingly. But, I think we play Auburn at noon. It's a great crowd. It's a great day. It's going to be beautiful weather again this week. And I'm just excited to play. And again, when you only get 12 days, what difference does it matter? Just be excited about playing and trying to do your very best. That's all we need to worry about.
Coach, talk about the crowd up at Maryland that followed you up there.
Oh, it was great. Our crowd, same thing at Virginia Tech. In fact, we had a lot of Clemson people on the 50. So I don't know if they gobbled up some tickets from the Maryland people while they were up there, but there was a bunch of fans, and that was great. It's pretty nice when you can celebrate on the road, with your own fans, and even better when you can come home and you got fans here at 4 o'clock in the morning, hanging out and enjoying the victory. That's been special.
Anybody got anything else?
All right.